Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. I'm Mike Mayo, joined by Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. Go ahead, gentlemen, just start pounding away because I'm just here as a human punching bag for you guys.
Well, you've kind of turned yourself into that a little bit. I see you purchased some seltzer at reasonable prices.
And ready for whatever slings and arrows. I've got a bottle of seltzer.
Mustang made you an honorary French Canadian yesterday on the show, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but she said that from her experience in the restaurant business, that's the kind of people that order a seltzer and then complain about the price. That's all.
Okay, first of all right, I'm going to open it and make a nice big fizzy noise. Oh,
you're really hung up on this thing, man. It's worse than that Bloody Mary.
No, you're hung up on it.
I never bring it up. You're the one with the seltzer. You just bought 18 cases of this stuff, so you'd never have to go back to the Hard Rock again.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about me and seltzer. It goes way back to a childhood thing. I do remember what my grandparents used to have seltzer delivered.
I remember that as a kid. I loved it, man. The blue bottles and the white ones. Yeah, it was great.
And
you're making a fine account of yourself. I mean, that Carlos Frias, you couldn't conduct yourself or comport yourself like he did yesterday. A real professional.
He is a class act.
Wow.
Right?
I was thinking, geez, is he open to doing a podcast in Dade?
Are you looking to replace me? You're going to just give me...
No, how can we replace you? You're the man. There's no question. You had to see this last night, Lubie. I mean, the women line up for this guy. It's just incredible, to the point where he ended up on the dance floor in the Tipperary pub situation we were in last night. And it is true. I understand. You've been fighting unattached for a long time. You often reference the baby mama, Mrs. Mayo, former Mrs. Mayo, Michelle Mayo, lovely young lady. And you're thinking, all right, you were already in over your head the first time. You have a lovely daughter together, and it's great that you guys appreciate each other to the point where you're not out to kill each other and or demean each other at every available opportunity. But
impressive.
You remember the actor, Lubie? I might be too young. I'm sure Mike does. Marty Feldman. He had the eyes that were like bulging out of his head.
He was in Young Frankenstein, and he had the bug-out eyes. Yes.
Every female that walked into this place or walked out of it last night, including one which, a very attractive lady, tattoos, and I would say some form-fitting shorts. Had Mayo's attention, much more so than this world-class music that was taking place last night. Was that inspired by the girl that was dancing on the floor? Because all of a sudden, really was a surprise to me. And Mustang was like, look, he's happy. He's dancing.
He's happy.
And I was thinking, well, dinner at Tropical Acres, a couple of bottles of wine, a couple of Budweisers,
First of all, I wasn't
whatever
drinking.
other inebriants might have been in play. I mean, just a dynamite job by Mayo being happy.
All right, we got a lot to cover here. First of all, my last name is not Mayo with an E-U-X. That would actually be a New Orleans thing. And speaking of New Orleans, later in the show, we're going to have a little chat with our man Tom Tanazzini. He's got some delights coming up this weekend, and I wanted to give him a chance to plug away. And we'll also ask him about some other restaurant matters, and longtime chef, and he has thoughts about the business and a good contributor on the Let's Eat South Florida group. And so that'll be later on today's show. Carlos Frias was absolutely terrific yesterday.
He was great. Yeah,
and he just puts me to shame. I mean, it just, when I don't know why, I have him on the show because he's so dapper. He's got a great professional setup there.
Yeah, the mic hanging it from the ceiling like he was Johnny Addy at Sunnyside Garden. Did you see that? The mic comes down. That time! He could have done that.
No, he could be a ring announcer, and he's got that polished look and polished voice, and now he's got the polished sandwich making machine that, this is what he does on his spare time. He's like getting guys at Hialeah to get chrome and things to make these
was going a little far. I just leave it
he's a real serious foodie as opposed to me. I'm going complaining about $5 seltzer after losing my shirt at the casino in the poker tournament.
It was a $500 seltzer. Let's
it was
get real
not
about it.
Okay. So first of all, and people like it when you get me riled up.
They do.
No, but that's the old joke. I was like, hey, what'd you do today? And I would say I had a $300 hot dog at the track.
Right.
Andy says that all the time.
So let's set the facts straight. It wasn't a $500 loss. It was a $150 poker tournament. So
all right, still more expensive than worthy of complaint.
I had my
about the soda.
$19 soup. I am
Right.
not French Canadian. I don't expect my soda water to be free at every place I go to. Some places do have free soda water.
They
Okay?
do.
Hey, Frenchie, can I have a refill? Yeah, I mean, you were probably expecting that to be free.
This
also.
one in the past, I've ordered seltzer and it was $3, and so I was a little jarred to see a what do you call it, 66.6% price hike in one fell swoop to go from $3 to $5 for a product that essentially costs pennies. They don't call it 2 cents plain for no reason. So
yeah, but I mean, you always complain about me being ancient and going back to Byzantine Empire times with pricing. But I mean, the $3 price, there's a good shot it's going to be $5. I don't know.
Really?
I mean, why don't you just order a drink for $19 and then we'd have
God,
paid
you're getting
$40
me
for
riled
the
up again. I told you
go.
yesterday. I told you yesterday.
Don't be so
If you had-
sensitive. This is logic. Yeah.
I told you yesterday. I learned my lesson. I will never order a freaking $5 seltzer again. And number two, that the next time I go there, I will either get plain tap water, and hopefully they won't charge me for it.
That's a couple of bucks.
I will get a beer
The
for
water's free.
$7.
How do you feel about a $6 water at a ball game? Is it $8 now? I don't even know. I mean, whatever
No,
the price
$4 to
is, you're
$6.
forced to
Like
pay
$4
it
to
if
$6.
you're looking
I
for
feel-
water. It's ugly.
I feel-
That was interesting though last night when the waiter came over to the table because they don't really know us that well. We're not part of the regular crowd there at the tip, although I've been going there the last 5-6 weeks steadily on Tuesday. And the guy has become, kind of very. He's really good to us. But when Mayo sits down, right, and he orders a club soda, and the guy said, "Hey, listen, it's going to cost you $2, kid. Are you going to okay with that?"
Really? Is that really what happened?
No,
And the
he's making
fans were flocking to him. I don't understand. I understand the man's appeal because we all like Mike Mayo. But is it the cuteness? Is it the hair? Is it the curmudgeon-like Lou Grant approach that he takes to everything? What is it? I mean, women
What
flock
it
to this
is,
guy.
It's
They
like I'm a
flock to
wounded.
him.
It's like I'm a wounded
wounded
animal,
duck.
like
Wounded
the
duck.
bird with the broken wing, and they see
Yeah.
me, and I look kind of pathetic and a little bit you're like, you want to give compassion to, and then I bust out a move on the dance floor, and they say, "Wow, this guy, he's actually not as miserable
It's
as he
impressive.
looks. He's actually happy." A
very attractive woman, by the way. And this was a story before we went to the tip. I said that Mike might be coming out to the Mustang. We've been going every Tuesday. Great show. I mean, just well worth it and a fun time. And a lovely young lady named Melissa, says to Mustang, she plays tennis with the Mustang, says, "Wow, I thought I heard your husband. I thought I heard Jeff. I recognize the voice. Is he on that Mike Mayo show?"
This is the most ridiculous thing in the history of the
She's
world.
a huge foodie and a fan, and she
I love
everybody loves Mayo, even the hottest of females. It's amazing.
I have a following, a food following, and people.
I think it runs
guess,
deeper than even you have imagined, though, Michael. I'm
No.
discovering that after being on the show with you for
I
like
need
a
a
year
way
now.
to monetize my existence. I need an agent, Defo. Do you have any good
I mean,
agents?
that's the role of this.
No, never had any success with agents.
That was the point of all this.
I had an agent actually tell me once. You remember Howard David? I'll give you a quick story here. But remember Howard David?
Mo Howard David. I remember him being lampooned by Neil. But yes, go ahead.
You know what? He actually was a really, really quality play-by-play announcer. Neil
He
got
was.
under his skin, but in general, he was
That
a
was
very,
great.
very quality play-by-play announcer. But
the
story goes like this.
way you get under my skin is the way that
Oh
Neil
no,
got under Howard David's.
no! This was
much
to the
worse.
extreme where
This
he,
was
you know,
real.
He
Yeah.
actually took the rug off that Neil was making fun of him about, and I think he tossed it in Neil's face one day and then walked off. But anyway, he liked me for some reason. He got along with me very well. He was always very nice to me. So he tries to. He says, "Why don't we team up?" There was a new radio station coming into town. It was 790. He said they want to hire me, perhaps, but I think it would be really strong if we entered into this thing as a team. So why don't you sign with my? And he had a highfalutin agent, one of those guys, big shots out of New York.
Big national stuff.
So the guy says, "Okay, why don't you sign this contract?" And I'm not quick to give up like 10% of stuff that I normally negotiate myself. But I figured, all right, what the hell? Let me try it. I'll tie my hat here to Howard David and his agent. So. The agent, Howard David, it turns out they had no interest in hiring him at 790. And the agent tells me, no interest in me whatsoever, that he mentioned my name, and it was like dog meat, The next day, they call me to do their morning show. So, well, what does that tell you? Like, it was a very negative experience in my one brief a time with the guy. And I said, well, since you told me that they had no interest in me, I'm going to go ahead and consider this contract null and void. And I signed a deal there and worked there for about 3 years after that.
There you go. All right.
So it was great. So no luck with agents.
All right. Well, I need to monetize my magnetism in some way, but
or at least cash in romantically. Because
that's the other thing I could
monetizing is,
be doing. It's a little bit harder. My style gets cramped a little bit, being that I have a 90-year-old mother living with me. But is it better
that would be appealing to your? I mean, these women are salivating over the possibility of just getting a chance to talk to you. I find it, I mean, it's not like you're not a good looking guy.
Does it make me more attractive? The fact that even Sally was confused by this last night. She was like, "Wait, you're living with your mother?" It's like, no, my mother is living. My mother lives with me.
Much more attractive
with me. I redid work. I made the bathrooms, I guess whatever you call it, accessible for mobility.
Noble characteristics, no doubt.
So,
no, women would really dig that. They wouldn't dig it if you were, 56 years old and living with your mother because you had to.
That's a big
but they do dig it that you would invite your mother into your life. Yes. I mean, it's a very redeeming quality on your part.
Got her out of the
and then the attention you pay to your daughter, fantastic. They would love to be filling that in between time, Mike Mayo. Okay. All of these hot women coming over to the guy going, "You're Mike Mayo." Wow, it was.
Well, let me do a little chronology of last night because you have several inaccuracies, and I want to set the record straight.
Me? Okay. I think I laid it out there clean, straight as a whistle, man.
I never requested seltzer at the whatever you call it. I was going to call it Tipitina's because that's a great New Orleans joint, but it's the
that may as well have been Tipitina's last night, though. Was that not phenomenal?
That was hot. That guy Schofield, he can jam.
Oh,
you can tell he's got
Terry Hank
guitar skills.
With the sax. Yeah,
so much fun, and you know what? That's the beauty of live music. I know, like I used to be a music club concert fiend when I was younger. Believe it or not, Defo, when I spent my semester in London, nominally going to the London School of Economics and Political Science, mainly going to pubs, clubs, and concerts. Back then, I had a partial mohawk and a blue-dyed hair.
Nice.
I was a punk. It was the heyday of like the post-punk era. 1986.
And maybe that's where some of the negativity comes from. It's just fueled by the fact that you had to run around town with a mohawk at the height of your sexuality. Unbelievable.
I got action. The bottom line is that's where I got an appreciation for live music, whether it be punk or blues or some classic rock. I love the blues, and this guy was jamming on the blues last night.
He's great. Yeah,
I love New Orleans. I love the New Orleans funk scene. But it's really just when you get into a place and the music is so good, it becomes an involuntary motor response where you get up and you just start dancing because
you were great, terrific moves.
That is where
I'm telling you.
I believe you. I don't
feel the pounding of the music. It becomes like a life force. And, maybe I should spend more time in clubs and less in restaurants, and especially less at restaurants at the Hard Rock. So that's
no doubt. And you know what did we have? We had like a chicken parm, and we had
I was going to get to that
chicken quesadilla.
I was going to get to that.
Was it Chef Vola's? No, but I mean that was like $30 altogether itself. 2 meals.
All right, I'm going to get to the place. It tipped very good value there. But first, let me start with the better value at Tropical Acres. And I'm not going to do the live spot yet, but it's going to sound like it because I took my daughter there last night. I had my filled punch card, the loyalty card, just like anybody else can do. I got no special treatment. Where if you're just a regular customer and you get these punch cards every entree until you get to 12 entrees, and then you get the 13th one on the house. And basically, my daughter, she got her petite filet. I got the regular cut prime rib, even though it was half price wine night because it was just myself and I knew I was going up to Tipperary later. I did not have a bottle of wine. I'm not going to start drinking 3 or 4 glasses by myself. I did get a martini at happy hour, and that was a good deal. And got it with Belvedere, and happy hour there, it's half price. It's like everything half price. So you get it for like $7. It's like you can't beat that. And then had my 1 martini, had a just beautiful, terrific meal. And basically, the 2 of us got out of there with the free entree. And 1 drink, it was like 40. It's ridiculous. It was like $42, $45. You
think I saw 47 on your ticket you posted.
Yeah, 47. Okay, because it was it had the drink included.
Still, I figured you had to invoke the free punch card thing. And it's funny to think of you carrying one, even though it's a great offer by Tropical Acres. But
here's what
you know how the thing is always so tattered, and it looks like you might have even fudged a couple of punches.
No, you can't fudge their punches. They have a very distinct punch card.
Like the Long Island Railroad I used to have?
It's not just a regular punch. It has a certain shape, and it's hard to, counterfeit or mimic.
Okay.
But the thing is, people need to understand, even though they're a show sponsor, we keep it pure. Every time I go there, I pay my own way. I'm treated like a regular customer, and they treat everybody like royalty there. And you get your VIP cards, and where else are you going to go? You get like 2 steak dinners premium with the sides and the salads, and we get out of there. And you're supposed to tip again. You tip on what would have been the full amount using the courtesy card. So it would have been $80-something. I gave her the $18 tip or whatever it was, and so it still worked out to be just a fantastic.
You didn't round that off to a 20?
Okay, let me ask you actually, since we're doing that, because I have been around enough people who do not grease. What did Defo call it? From Goodfellas, Conway or whatever.
Oh, Jimmy Conway.
The Conway, like where they
grease everybody at 20 right away.
Over tip, yeah. You go in and just
you get hooked up. So to me, the win is you got hooked up. No, you actually tip more because you got hooked up, which I don't understand that, but fine, I get it. You want to pay it forward, pay it back. Okay, so they're a sponsor.
I should have just made it at even 20.
That's sorry. What I'm saying. They're a sponsor.
Or 23. Yeah.
Well, are we supposed to now go above and beyond? Like not because they asked us to, just out of a sort of a you stand by us, we stand by you kind of a thing. Like I'm always curious about when you get into these social situations because I do a 20 to 25% tipping, and I'll see people tip like ridiculous amounts, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to be cheap, but I don't understand how much are you supposed to tip? Like, give me a standard bill.
20 to 25% is fine, Lubie. I mean, some people, if you've got more dollars than you know what to do with.
If you get hooked up, if they give you some drinks, if they like take care of
you. Oh, if they took care of
extra grease.
Let's say if they through an extra thing on a little bit extra on the side, if they throw you in a free dessert, absolutely. Then you go up to the 25-30 range. But now I feel bad because I didn't have cash. You ever have this, Defo, where I have a single dollar bill and $100 bill, and it's like. I like to leave tips in cash, and I would have liked to have just left her a 20, but I didn't have the 20.
You could have break 100. I mean, instead, keep like 70.
No, that's like you have to keep behind glass in case of emergency, and in case I run into a poker table. You need that single $100 bill, and
or a harness track that's open late at night. I don't know. I don't get that scientific about it. I mean, my general philosophy, because I've been treated to a lot of free meals over my lifetime, and look, Freebie King could have easily been my blues name, and I'm very generous. At least I consider myself so in those situations. Like if I had $100 meal that I was turned on to, no way I'm leaving less than like $50 for the server. So and I don't have an equation
turned on to that you got it.
In other words, somebody comps me like $100 meal. I'm throwing a server maybe the 100.
We do this all the when we go out and about for our remote shows, and the places are nice enough to comp us the food that they're presenting and showing on the air. We're very generous with our servers there, and whether it's even keel or wicked cheesesteaks.
General philosophy.
Yeah,
be generous.
That's just be very generous in those spots. Now I feel like a total cheapskate because I did write in 18 because you know what? It had that little guide on the bottom of the check.
I knew that
20% is
you're a degenerate that you can calculate the pick 6 percentages. I mean, how much money you're getting back on a pick 4 refund.
I feel bad because I left her like 18. It turned out to be like an even 65 or something.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Okay, well that could be that makes
sense. And I'm a little OCD. I like the round numbers, so I just made it
70 would have been a nice round number. It's a 7.
70 would have been. It would have been. Yeah, for you 70 looks real good since you're 71 going on.
71 doesn't feel so bad. I mean, I'm not sure. A lot is made of that. The problem is the clock is ticking. It's like being the Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs, and the clock is running down. And guess what, Mike Mayo? I've used or burnt all of my timeouts.
That's it. So, all right, I got done with dinner. My daughter drove us home because I had the one martini, and so she's driving now. She was completely sober. It was a fantastic meal. And then, she was getting ready for her big PSAT exam that she just concluded today.
Nice.
And so she got
feel good about it.
I don't know. I haven't gotten the full report yet, but we're going out to lunch after the show because it was a short school day. But
is that the one with reading comprehension on it, where you have to read a story and I was horrible.
Reading, math, and I think there's even an essay portion of it now. They changed it around from our days, but no, she drove us back home. She was in for the night. Then I took the car. I went up to Tipitina's. I keep saying Tipperary Pub.
Tipperary Pub. That's been a great scene every Tuesday.
You don't want to tell people where it is because you want to keep it your own little secret. But it's in the Cove Shopping
Looked like the
Plaza.
word was out, right? Because most of the people at the bar were into the band last night, whereas usually it's like a whole separate crowd over there, and it's not a big place. But
and
that was outstanding. Yeah,
some interesting characters. Okay, so now I get up there and I see Defo and Mustang, and it was a great time. And I went to the bar and got myself a Budweiser, opened up a tab, and then Defo was nice enough to buy me one. They thought they were going to pick up the whole
I was going to pick up all of your drinks. I really was.
I was going to insist on just keeping, the one that was on my tab. I wanted to pay. So the guy, and of course, all I had was the $100 bill, and I wasn't going to break it for one little measly Budweiser. So he brings the credit card slip. Guess how much it was?
I think it was like $4 something.
Yeah, $4.57. It was 43 cents cheaper than the seltzer at Hard Rock.
And it was ice cold, and it was good.
It's a freaking beer.
It was great.
They're very accommodating there. I mean, it was known as a dive bar forever, this place. I mean, and a lot of people, as soon as I mention I'm going to the Tipperary Pub, they go, they're doing all kinds of crazy things in there. But for that show, I mean, if you had walked into, look, I love New Orleans. I go to a zillion places. We walk in, we see every place has a band playing. That would have been one of the great bands that you would ever see in a New Orleans setting, and that's saying a lot. I mean, even if you paid like $50 to get in, to see Matt Schofield and Terry Hank out of San Francisco, who both have places in Boca Raton now, and the beauty of it was, Mike, because there's so much jealousy and anger and all kinds of divide in the United States today and around the world and in humanity. Those guys, it doesn't matter. Schofield's way up there, upper echelon international musical figure. If you look at his videos, he's with orchestras in foreign countries. He's done everything, right? And highly regarded, ranked in the lists of the best guitarists in the world. And he just comes there and digs playing with these guys who are not necessarily as accomplished, but all very professional. Chris Pete, the guy on drums that should be president, he's in his own band that does very well with J.P. Soares. And, it was really nice to see. Terry Hank does shows all over the country.
You can tell.
They love playing together. They just love it.
These guys have a love for the game. They just have a passion. It's the same way Tom T. Like, he thought he was retired. He spent how many 30-something years in kitchens, and he just can't stay away. And he starts opening this little, taking over a food truck 2 days a week on the low, the slowest 2 days. And next thing you know, he's got a menu of like 50 different items, and he wants to expand. And he's
just when he thought he was out, they roped him back in.
He can't stay away, and it just runs in the blood. And it's like you don't want to just retire and sit around and go to the beach and suck your thumb every day. You want to.
I'm doing that anyway. Yeah.
You want to give your spiel because that's what you do, and it keeps you engaged. And me, I've found the same thing. Like I hung up, I gave up on the newspaper business. I didn't give up. I just, it was time. I did my time.
Saw the writing on the wall. Yes.
Yeah, and now I'm doing different things, and I'm still engaged with the Facebook group Let's Eat South Florida, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I did before we got to Tom T, and I know we got to take a break. I got two things for you because you did have the food there at the Tipperary.
Yeah.
And the chicken parm looked fine.
It's all right. It was okay.
It's nothing that you're going to get at some fancy joint, but it's basic red sauce Italian. It looked good. It looked filling. But that quesadilla,
you like that quesadilla?
Even though I was stuffed, I found it a little bit odd that this is. And Lubie, have you ever heard of a chicken quesadilla stuffed with blue cheese?
Oh, and the chicken was sort of fried, so that was also interesting.
Fried chunks of chicken, and I just wasn't expecting, because when you get a quesadilla, you expect like the Mexican, the different the Mexican blends, the Colby, and the Jack.
Plus, we had to go no onions because of the Mustang, which would have added a lot to it if we had the onions.
I wasn't deducting points for that, but I just never had experienced a blue cheese quesadilla.
Only cheese with blue cheese.
No, it seemed like there was also a cheddar jack type cheese in there, but it had blue cheese in addition to it, which, when you're expecting blue cheese, it's great. When you're not expecting blue cheese,
surprise,
then it's like you make a face like Defo with his cream cheese. That's a little bit.
Oh, that cream cheese is awful. I'm expecting it. I'm taking it back, Mayo. I am.
All right, we got Tom T on the line. Before we get to him, though, I did want to share one bit of restaurant news an exclusive here on the Lunchbox to start. I was going to put it up on the Let's Eat group. But yesterday I ran into Andy's Live Fire Grill, which is owned by Anthony Bruno, who owns and also, as partner operates the famous Anthony's Runway 84, which I wanted to repay the Panther debt there, but they closed for renovations. So I found out yesterday, and I drove by Runway 84 the other week, and it looked a little bit like not going to be anytime soon. And they were aiming, they said originally, by the boat show, which is the end of this month, October. Well, unfortunately, construction being the way it is, it's now looking more like they're aiming for Thanksgiving. Translation to me means you'd be lucky by Christmas, New Year's.
It's New Year's. It's New Year's.
Yeah. And
when you drive by a place that's remodeling and it looks like Beirut, you're thinking they're probably not opening up on time.
And
it's a bit of a dream.
So that's a little bit unfortunate for Runway 84 fans in that, I told Anthony at the beginning when he said boat show, I said, that's a little ambitious. I said, it'll be happy if it's New Year's.
Takes how long to get
Christmas.
a permit to redo the sink in the bathroom? I mean,
especially Fort Lauderdale. Even if you know a lot of people like Anthony Bruno does. But the good news is that they're doing these little kind of pop-ups of Runway 84 at Andy's Live Fire Grill on Thursday nights. Runway is famous Thursday meatball and martini night. And so this Thursday, they are doing a kind of martini meatball night at Andy's Live Fire Grill. It's right there on the Federal Highway, just south of 17th Street. And I think it's like 18 something. It's the old Dirty Ernie's barbecue now is Andy's Live Fire Grill. But they're for the night, and they have a whole crew in from Anthony's that are now working at Andy's in the interim. Some of the front of house, some of the kitchen workers. Andy's usually is just kind of a neighborhood grill with fresh fish and steaks and burgers. But tomorrow night for the kind of the runway takeover, they're going to have the meatballs and martini. They're going to have the mussels in the marinara sauce. They're going to have some calamari. They're going to have a chicken parm. They're going to have a veal chop, kind of all kind of good classic Italian dishes. So I would recommend, I think I'm going to drop by there because I told some of the regulars that sounds great. And I think they've done it once or twice before. Like they've been doing it once a month for the last couple of months just to kind of keep that runway vibe going. So I'm glad to see that. We'll be anxious to see runway actually the remodeled one open by the end of the year. But go check it out because we do love Anthony Bruno, and Andy's Live Fire Grill is a cool place to check out also. So
our friend Cheryl DeLeonardis does some publicity for Anthony, and she also runs this thing at the Super Bowl every year where they have the Pat Summerall Award. She puts on this giant charitable banquet. It's fantastic. But she's a huge advocate, and I would imagine a fixture at the Meatballs and Martini. So if you see a lovely young lady that used to be a Dolphin cheerleader and looks the part today, Cheryl DeLeonardis, go over, say hello. She's a very influential person and has long been affiliated with this organization.
Will my Marty Feldman eyes be bugging out when I see Cheryl?
Very possibly so. Yeah, very attractive young lady. But really cool. Nothing like when that woman with the form-fitting shorts walked by you with the tattoos.
You totally busted me too. So that's was a beautiful.
No, it was funny because all of a sudden, his Schofield's burning a riff that you can't even believe that you're thinking if you close your eyes, this is the greatest guitar riff you've ever heard, blues solo, and Mayo's staring out the door there. And I'm saying, well, what happened here? And sure enough, that this, very attractive, how else can I put it? But a very easily identified rear end, almost in its naked essence, walked by. Look, I was looking too. I was glad the Mustang was standing in front of me, as at least I wasn't going to get busted by the hot chick narc. Yeah, for sure.
That's it.
But
so I know I said a lot of kind words about Tropical Acres. I'm going to say a few more right now. If you haven't been there, you really need to go and check it out for yourself. Some people say, "Oh, it's just." For people who are
don't listen to those fools.
Whatever. My daughter loves the place.
Make your own judgments. Yes,
my daughter has her pulse on hip and trendy, and she also has her pulse on good value. Because when we left there last night, she says, "Dad, every time we go here, it's just good." And she recognized like the price is right. So that's why I love it. You should go there. 2500 Griffin Road, just west of the airport, 95 there in Dania Beach, Old Fort Lauderdale. And they still have the Twin Lobster special going. Jack Studiali says it's going to be going straight through mid-November, right before Thanksgiving. You get two of those one and a quarter pound Maine lobsters, steamed fresh with a salad and a side dish, $35. You can't beat it. And they have happy hour in the bar from 4:30 to 6:30, half price wine Monday, Tuesday, early bird special, the butcher shop from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for all the great cuts of meat and some extra specials that you can bring home. Like this week, they have that American Wagyu, was it the 12-ounce ribeye for $38? Great flavor, great value. They're open every day but Sunday at Tropical Acres. Tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
It's funny too because I love the vibe of Tropical Acres. You know, you feel like you're walking into a classy place, and
The piano player was going last night. Even on a weeknight, on a Tuesday night, you got that nice. It's
great. I mean, it's kind of and look, they've been around 72 or 73 years, and
I think it's great.
An old school
class.
vibe is cool. Yeah, I mean, it makes you feel good. It's like I like this joint out in Las Vegas at the Circus. It's called the Steakhouse, and it's kind of old school with the decor and everything. But that's what makes its appeal. So no, very enjoyable, and I'm glad you got a $7 martini there with a call drink. I mean, because and that kind of made up for
premium drink.
You'll eventually get over the $5 seltzer. I believe
I'm
you
over
will.
it. I'm over it. Last night, it wiped away all the bad memories, except...
That was great, though, when you got the seltzer in the squirt bottle. We used to get like 4 of those, I guess they were squirt bottles of seltzer, and you always were hoping that you got the colored version of the bottle. I don't know if you remember that.
I've always been a
They had a
seltzer
little
drinker.
wood box, and they would drop them in there when you put
They
it
were
out
heavy
on
as
delivery
heck.
day. Yeah.
They were heavy as heck. I don't know how they got them up the 4 flights of stairs.
But in New York, how do people not steal the apparatus at the top of the bottle there? Because you would think they would never get that stuff back.
too complicated for me. But
what was the need for all this seltzer, though? I mean, do you remember? I remember getting the bottles.
We would drink that the way that Italians would drink kind of table wine at every meal. Jews would drink seltzer, and I've never been a soda fan. I mean, sometimes, occasionally, I'll drink a Dr. Brown's. I didn't. When I was a kid, I would drink some Coca-Cola.
That Boylan, was that the name of the brand that they had?
Boylan.
And Wicked Cheesesteaks?
Yeah, they have some good
that was delicious. I mean, that was
that was really good.
I'm watching my sugars. I don't want to spend empty calories on sugars. I'd rather just, with any meal, I drink regular water or bottled water or seltzer. And I love my seltzer, and but I don't love it anymore at the bowl. So that's it.
It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, that was one of the best comments I've ever seen on Let's Eat South Florida. I mean, very astute observation by whoever wrote that thing that said, you paid $20 for a bowl of soup.
It was 19.
And you're complaining. You're belly aching about a $5 soda.
For a meal, I'm not complaining about a few bucks more, but for something that costs literally like 3 cents.
You'll never live this one down, man.
I shouldn't. But okay, but you're getting me riled up all the time. All All right, let's.
I know how to get to you. It doesn't take much, though. That's the beauty of it. Tom Tanazzini, though, I have to say, this guy is a real asset to the community. I love it that you're friends with him, and we love it that you turn us on to Tom Tanazzini, because it's now in my head. And I don't like to schlep anywhere. I had to drive yesterday to see my accountant. It was about a 20-minute thing on I-95, and I'm thinking, I'm so glad I don't drive to work every day anymore. I really am. That's one thing about it. Wasn't really semi-retirement. It was COVID-related. People started working from home, and we've continued to do so. But in the back of my head, even though it's Boynton Beach, quite a schlep, from where I am, I always think, wow, I really, Tom's food is so good. You just want to drive up there from anywhere and take advantage of it. And then, as you said, Mike Mayo, the prices are phenomenal in terms of being reasonable.
We love them. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and talk to Tom T after this. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back here on the Lunchbox. It's a Wednesday. It's a beautiful Wednesday. I took a walk this morning, Defo. A little bit warm again, but
yeah, I haven't gotten out there yet. I fell asleep after the first show.
After I get done with my walk, I love a good, nice, ice cold can of seltzer. Let me, okay, I'm going to put this to bed once and for all. But, soda gun stuff is basically pennies because they're getting carbonated water that comes from CO2 tanks and carbonation. And then they add their syrups. And if you're working a bar, sometimes you got your tonic button, you got your plain seltzer button. Again, pennies. It's like getting beer from a tap. When you tap a keg.
Where were you, though? You were in a casino, Michael.
I was in a restaurant in a casino. And all right, so here I've got my can of Polar Seltzer that I got BOGO at Publix, 2 12-packs that I got for like $5.49. That cost average, this can was 22.8 cents.
Was there a separate line for old Jewish people?
No,
not 10 items or less. It just said old Jewish
for fake French Canadians. And then this is my Ritz Seltzer in the bottle, 16 ounces, $2.55. That works out to
I didn't realize you were so price obsessed, Mike Mayo. I mean, you used to go to these expensive restaurants. Come on. Places where, you were going to go to the Dune the other night.
42 point. I am a man of contradictions. Some things I get extremely chintzy about, and some things I just, I'll just blow the bank. I don't care.
It's easy to get under your skin. They got under your skin with this thing. They really did.
Under my skin. But my point being is, what's a fair profit? What is, what's the line? And we've got on the line now, I believe, if he's there, Tom Tanaziti, friend of the Lunchbox. He's been on 20 minutes. Thanks for being patient. But he sold his boat. He can't even go out fishing anymore. So all he can do now is listen to the Lunchbox. Tom T, how are you today, my man?
What's happening, guys?
Good afternoon, my friend.
You there?
We're here. How you doing? How you doing, sir?
I was a little busy Googling Mike Mayo Mohawk, but
you got to have the blue dye, a little bit blue purple.
You should have seen him dancing, Tommy T. Have you ever seen him dancing, like after he ate at your place? Because you'd be dancing out of there.
No, I haven't, man. He was cutting a rug, huh?
Well, I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, they did have to consider some repairs to the furniture after he got on the dance floor.
I took a little bit of a scissors out, tried to cut it, and it kind of got caught up a little bit. But that was fun.
The chick he was aiming for never really turned around and acknowledged that he was out there on the dance floor anyway. She was preoccupied with her friend.
Yeah. The invisible man.
Oh, my God.
Happening, Tom. Why did you sell your boat? Is this true? Because you always like to say you're going fishing. So what's going on? What's happening?
Well, I wasn't using her quite as much as I like to. I have plenty of friends with boats.
That's the key.
And she was sitting in the water and she was getting barnacles and she wasn't getting out and I found a guy who was a really neat guy that bought her and he's bringing it to North Carolina. It's kind of funny because that's where the boat was manufactured and he's a 70-year-old man. She's easy to run by herself, and let somebody else enjoy it. You know what I mean?
All right. So you're just a masochist. You can't stay away from the kitchen, can you? You just like less fishing and more, creation and making new things. And every time I turn around and you're dropping a menu, there's more things on there. And you've started off with like 10 items, and now like last time I looked, it seemed like it was 40 items. What are you doing? You're a mad scientist. Stop.
I'm having fun, man.
Well, that's cool.
I enjoy it.
All right. So before we get into the nitty gritty of what you're doing this weekend and some of the new items, I know that you are on the Let's Eat South Florida group. You are a food lover. You get bored with these whole, the high prices and the kvetching, and I guess I was your worst nightmare yesterday when I'm kvetching. But I think but there's something behind this that look. Consumers are struggling. It's inflationary times. We look like we're on the edge of a recession. Restaurateurs are struggling. They're also barely eking out profits and a living. They have to figure out a way to survive. What's the happy middle ground? I mean, is $5 seltzer reasonable, do you find, or do people just have to accept? What do you make of all this?
Well, I mean, look, you're at a casino, Mike. I'm not a casino
Thank
guy.
you, Tom. Thank you.
Who cares? I mean, you're at a casino.
All right.
You're having a $200 cocktail, no matter what. Exactly.
All right, I lose. I'm a loser. That's it. Just you got me.
No, dude, I'm just saying, like, it's I don't know. It's like going to a ball game. I mean, come on, you get one in there, you're paying ridiculous amount for cold beer, and it's going to be the same thing. Well, hopefully cold beer, I reckon, huh? And It's going to be the same thing at casino. I mean, I think everybody that goes to casino knows they're going to walk in and get, stuffed. You know what I mean?
Hammered, getting clobbered. Yeah. All right. But out and about in the real world, I mean, we see this tension now between how much is too much of a profit, whether it's price of sodas or refills or the ways that
Here's what's happening. Here's what's happening in the business. Basically, there's a lot of stresses right now, as everybody knows and they've heard about. The rents are going up, insurance is going up, landlords are buying properties for whatever reason, kicking people out or saying, "Here's your new rent. You want it? Fine. If you don't, get out." And you know what? You're seeing people getting out. I know down by the Tipper area, there was a place down there for quite some time. I think it was a Mexican place that had to be out of business after how many years? The guy's like, "Look, I can't make a living off of this." You got stresses from fuel costs that are getting passed through to you for deliveries from anybody, whether it's food, paper goods, chemicals. They're all adding these fees. The prices are just swinging insanely, and honestly, it's just very hard to predict. And so you've got these printed menus. You don't know what to do, and you're trying to maintain a price level. But what do you want to reprint your menus? I mean, it's insane. And then you have the labor issues that are abound right now, and not just hiring good help, but hiring any help. And if you do, labor's getting more and more expensive. Then what do you expect from a place that you go? And you have to look at that and the value of what you're looking at too. As far as service and those types of things. They're lacking servers, or they're not trained quite as well, or they don't have as many. They have to, take care of the guests that they can with the people they have. And the same thing is happening in the back of the house that people don't see, and you got, maybe you're supposed to have 4 cooks or more in certain size places, and you only have 2. You got a manager running around trying to do several different things. And, I understand people's expectations, and I completely agree. I'm much more laid back about it, but you have to, you have to kind of balance it. And the thing that gets a little frustrating, I think, and I'm not, I can't speak for every operator, but I can, kind of speak in general, is, these people out here thinking you're making this great and taking trips to Fiji and buying Maseratis, and it's not happening.
Some of them are, though, Tom. Some of them, I see it.
I mean, Steven's coming here, and people are counting on a good season this year. And honestly, it's a really tough market for restaurateurs. It really is, and I don't think there's this mass conspiracy for everybody in the business to take advantage of all these customers. People are trying different things to come up with a way to try to keep their head above water. And, they have a right to make a living too, like anybody else. There's financial stress on everybody, and so we'll see how it pans out. I mean, you're absolutely right. If there's a recession coming, unfortunately, you might see some of the places you love, go out of business. You don't have family members that have any interest in taking businesses over. You got a lot of big corporate money coming down here in the restaurant business, doing places like whatever you guys know. I don't like to name names, but and you're going to see these prices in those places. On the other hand, you go to a place like Carbone's. Look, you see the menu. You want a $100 veal chop? Get it. If you don't. I mean, hopefully they do a great job. And the fact that these places are packed. I mean, what I think you said, you can't hardly get in there, so they're doing something right. That's for sure. So,
somebody's got a lot of money, and it ain't me, Tom. Lubie, you got something for Tom?
Well, I was just gonna say, look, Tom, it's funny because the way you handle your business, I find it interesting because you do things that are more on the higher level, right? Oysters is not something you're getting at the everyday place. Even po' boys can range in price. But yours are much more affordable. So how do you attack pricing? Because Mayo's talked about the science behind this percent and that percent. But then you see some people go out of hand, like a Hard Rock, like a casino, like a ball game. How do you handle your pricing? Being a guy who you work out of a food truck, sometimes you work out of the actual standalone restaurant. Like, how do you handle your pricing?
Well, there's a couple things. First of all, I'm very small. I'm not trying to do 150 covers a night. I buy all of my food myself. Part of the thing about anything when you cook is how much you can buy and how much you need and how much you can do yourself. Anytime you buy convenience items or anything that, as they say in the business, anything that somebody has to touch is going to be more expensive. So if I can butcher my own meat, if I can, go to a shrimp guy that I know and buy good shrimp and, peel them myself and use your shells to make stock, not every place can do that, and that's understandable. I know how to do that. I know how to butcher meat. I know how. So I do all the work myself. I buy French fries and simply, honestly, because I'm not a huge fan of those fresh cut fries. I'm just not. That's personal opinion. I like the coated fries. The clear coats, they stay crunchy. You can put stuff on them like cheese and things like that, and they kind of stay there like nachos. That's my preference. I have a good source for my fresh crab meat. And so a lot of it is buying smart and then knowing how to use it and process it, and how to work it and give people a value. And that's kind of what I try to do personally. I try to create a value. I mean, you come in, you've heard about how great my grilled oysters are. I had to raise them this week to $15 a dozen. I don't make a ton of money off it, but I'm proud of what I serve.
That's not a lot.
Still really cheap,
yeah, still good.
That's
A
ridiculous.
lot of the brick and mortars, it's 30, it's 28, 30.
Enjoy my food and drink good beer at Noble. I think they're the best brewery around. These guys are as dedicated to their beer as I am. Which speaks volumes. As you guys know, I'm a little bit crazy about food.
Yeah, so you're going to be again.
I do everything by hand.
So Nobo Brewing is in Boynton Beach. It's just off of 95 Gateway Boulevard, back in this warehouse district. So what are your days and hours now? It seems like you're expanding into more and more. What's going on this weekend?
Well, I'm trying to work with them. I'm trying to, my days have been a little flexy because, normally I was the Sunday and Monday for a long time. They asked me to do Tuesday and Wednesday because they want to have food every day, and I said I would. And let's be honest, those aren't the busiest days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm trying to drive business in, and I have some other irons in the fire that I'm going to be working with them. I don't want to bring up too much, but I might have some more days, hopefully, and get some of the good days. Get some of the days like the weekends and things where I can bring some people in and they can enjoy what we do. I had fun yesterday. I made something kind of fun. I made a sweet potato barbecue sauce.
Oh, okay. We got to run because we got to get another break in. But you got some crab and some fresh seafood this weekend. That's the highlight.
So I used to work at the Crab House restaurant down on 17th Street, and then I worked at the Captain Crab's Takeaway. That was back in the day, a long time ago, and they were famous for their garlic crabs. So I got a good deal on snow crabs, and I know how to make the garlic crabs just like they made them there, because I made thousands of pounds of them in that place. So I said, I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to do these garlic snow crabs. I ordered up some of the Maine mussels, the big fresh Maine wild caught mussels. Those little things I'm not real fond of. They're good, but I'm getting some other stuff. I'm doing some cool specials for the weekend. I got a couple irons in the fire I'm working on, so I'm trying to get some people up. And
so it'll be Sunday, Monday again at Novo with the crabs?
No, Saturday. I'm
Saturday.
here all weekend.
Nice.
Oh, good. Okay. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Tom Tanazini. Check out the full menu drop at Tom's Louisiana Kitchen on Facebook, his Facebook page. Better yet, go see him yourself if you haven't been there yet. It is the bomb diggity. Novo Brewing up in Boynton Beach. Tom, always a pleasure to talk to you. We'll see you on the internet. And Lubie, let's get to our last bits of business before we come and wrap up this edition of today's Lunchbox. Thanks, Tom. You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans. For 30 years, they've been doing a great job. The original location, West Side, 3303 Sheridan Street, just across from TY Park in Hollywood. Then there's the East Side location, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late in both locations. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. From our And we're back. I don't think we have much time left. Got some bit of Dolphins news in. Just heard that Tua has been cleared to return to practice, but he is ruled out of this Sunday's game. Yeah, so Skylar Thompson is going to be the starter for Dolphins against the Vikings on Sunday. Thanks to Tom T. And Defo, you got any closing thoughts today, or do you want to take another
Tom T, one thing about him, I love the fact that he gets such favorable reviews whenever he posts that menu on Facebook, on his Facebook page, or Let's Eat South Florida. And it is true. The gumbo, I still remember that. I had it in the refrigerator after we ate there. It is so good, and everybody's been complimenting. I saw a bunch of people complimenting Tom T on the gumbo, saying it was the best they've had.
Yeah,
I believe it is as good as anything that I've had in New Orleans. The stuff
he makes a real deal roux, and the Holy Trinity he chops up. Even Joe Casale, who is a bona fide,
he's a critic,
New Orleans freak and lover of New Orleans. He goes there all the time, and he sings the praises of Tom T. It's just one of the wonders of being able to do the Lunchbox and being able to oversee the Let's Eat Facebook group, 90,000 strong, is that I've gotten to meet people like Tom T and Joe C through the group.
And what appears to be a growing legion of, female fans. I don't want to say groupies, but getting to that point where he might be able to categorize, the onslaught of women that come after you. It's really it's like Rod Stewart walked in at the height of his popularity.
Very nice,
it's
very
amazing.
nice. All right, we're going to be back tomorrow and another edition. That's it for today. Thanks to Mike Lubie Lubitz, Jeff Defo DeForest. I'm Mike Kvetcher Mayo.
With a year's supply of seltzer, or 2 years maybe. Yeah, that's good.
Remember to enjoy every sandwich.